Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Just so you know, if you haven't figured it out, I have everyone on mute for right now, um, and I'll go through a little bit of an outline of how we're gonna to run the call today and kind of the flow of the call. So we'll probably have a few more people joining, but I think we've got the bulk of everyone on here, and so I'll just kick things off. I've got just some notes that I've written down, and I'll try to get through them the best I can. A lot of them are such good memories, and some of them are a little bit tough. But I'll start. I'll just go ahead and kick it off. And you also have there's a chat function. So if you have any questions or if you're having any difficulties seeing the screen or hearing me or anything, just go ahead and send a message through the chat, and I'll be able to see that and respond to that. So without further ado, here we go. Uh, Again, thank you for joining us today to celebrate the life of my mom, Karel Waugh. For those that do not know me, my name is Eric. Just quickly, I'll review the flow of the call today. I'm going to start out saying a few words about my mom and a few of the adventures we shared together. Next, Carol's daughter, Lisa, my sister, will share some of her memories with everyone. We'll then show a short video we prepared, just a few of the highlights throughout her life. Making this video was certainly a bit challenging with all of the highlights throughout her life. Um, so many amazing adventures and accomplishments that she had. Literally thousands of photos and hundreds of hours of video to choose. I think it's about a 6 minute video. Um, After the video, I'm going to invite each of her four grandchildren, Jimmy, Colleen, Haley, and Jameson, to say a few words. And after that, I'll invite everybody else on the call that would like to share a story or a great memory with Carol. We'll open that up, and I'll explain more about that when we get to that point. So just a little bit more about Carol. She was born in Oklahoma City, May 14th, 1938. After high school, she would meet the love of her life, Bob, my dad, and after a short stint in college together in Michigan, they would make their way to warmer weather here in California, with my mom finishing college at Long Beach State. It wouldn't be long before they relocated to Northern California, starting in San Jose, then up to Redwood Estates in the mid 60s. Thus began their adventure in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Although both her and my dad grew up riding horses, this is when it would truly become a passion for both of them. My parents boarded horses near their home and would learn of a new club called Summit Riders Horsemen's Association. The new club would host many events at the Parkers Arena. Only problem was at that time, it was quite a distance away from where they lived, and they didn't have a horse trailer. For those of you that are local to the Summit area or who have spent time up here in the mountains, imagine riding your horse across Highway 17, as this was before the overpass was built. Something you would never dream of doing today. And even back then, I'm sure it was quite the adventure. In 1972, they would purchase their final home located on Skyland Road, where both of them lived out their days here, lived here for over 50 plus years. It was a perfect location as it had plenty of room for 3 to 4 horses, and it was only a short ride to the arena. Carol would become a familiar face at summer riders events, participating in horse shows, gymkhanas, trail rides, and overnights. She would go on to hold many positions in the club, including multiple times as president. She would eventually begin participating with the North American Trail Riding Conference, or NATRAC for short, and spent a large percentage of her weekends every year traveling to rides throughout the state and beyond. She would also become a highly respected judge for these rides and had the privilege of judging rides all over the country, including several times in Alaska. As if that is not enough, she also participated in the Tevis Cup 4 times. Many on this call will know Tevis very well, but for those that are not familiar with it, it is a 100-mile and one-day ride that takes place in the Sierra Nevada mountains near Lake Tahoe. She successfully finished the ride in 3 of her 4 attempts. She would also spend many, many years as a volunteer for this ride alongside my dad as well. Horses would be a huge part of her entire life. I know that a large percentage of you on this call right now are here because you're meeting her through Summit Riders, NATRAC, and or Tevis. It brought her so much happiness interacting with all her other horse companions, many of whom turned out to be lifelong friendships. It was with great sadness that they had to retire their last two horses as they approached their 80s, as riding was no longer feasible and the daily tasks of feeding and mucking the stalls simply became too much to manage for them. For those that do not know, Karel suffered from Alzheimer's disease. As hard as it was for her at times, she was almost always happy and smiling. Sorry. Right up until the end physically, she was doing quite well. We would often get out for short walks and went to town several times a week to do some shopping and have lunch somewhere. With all that, she always held on to the dream of owning more horses and continuing to ride, although at that point it certainly was out of reach, but it was always her dream. Before I hand it over to Lisa, I just wanted to share a couple of recent experiences I was able to share with my mom and with my dad as well that I will forever cherish. The first was about 5 years ago when she and my dad traveled to China to visit me while I was living there. Together, we enjoyed time in Shanghai, where I was living, explored the Forbidden City in Beijing, walked on the Great Wall, and marveled at the wonders of the terracotta warriors in Wuxi. Next, shortly after my dad passed away, I took my mom on a vacation to Thailand, where we spent 10 amazing days in the land of smiles. It is appropriate that the country's motto, as the entire time we were there, my mom was smiling ear to ear. Shortly after returning from that trip, we traveled to Texas to visit her childhood friend, Rowena, who unfortunately I just learned this morning, Rowena passed away about a week ago. But it was great to see the two of them reunite and talk about the good old days together. After spending several days in Texas, we drove to my dad's hometown of Hugo, Oklahoma, to spend time with my cousin Kevin and his family. From there, we moved on to Benton, Arkansas to visit with all of her sisters, whom she was fortunate to be able to reconnect with many, many years ago and built a great relationship with them. She had so much happiness during this entire trip. I made sure to take lots of pictures so she could continue to enjoy the memories, even as they faded from her memory. That would end up being our final trip, as her condition made it too difficult to get away from the house for more than an afternoon. It is a reminder to always live each day to its fullest, as you never know when the time will come when you can no longer enjoy life the way you once did. You will see several pictures from those trips coming up in the video. It was an honor to help her create even more great memories in her final years. I also want to thank all of you for the comments on Facebook and the cards we have received. It is a huge reminder how lucky I was to grow up with a mom like Karel, who was not only such a huge part of my life, but also in the community she lived. That's it for me for now. Lisa, I'm going to turn it over to you. I just got to figure out which one you are. So hold on one second. Do you know which one it is?
It's legal iPhone. Okay. Can you hear me? There you go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Like Eric said, there are so many great memories of our mom and dad left with us. It's hard to just sort out a couple stories, but when mom rode the Tempest 100-mile race for the first time, I went with dad to crew for her. At one of the first P&R stops she rode up to, she had tears rolling down her face and holding her shoulder, covered in dust. Her horse Frosty had fallen with her. She didn't really want to quit. She had worked so hard that year to get them both in shape, but we could tell she was really hurting and still a long way to go. But she made up her mind to continue, and she did finish the race under 24 hours. Once the adrenaline wore off, though, we realized we definitely need to take her to the hospital. Turned out she had broke her collarbone. Grew up knowing my mom was tough.
curtain is like complete chaos.
I've seen her break her arm a couple of times and a broken leg, and also that same collarbone before, all from horses. But after seeing her finish one of the top 10 hardest 100-mile races in the world, my respect for her kicked up a whole new notch. Mom shared her love for horses with me at a very young age, and I too fell in love with riding. But I'd always wanted to try riding a dirt bike. My mom's response: "They're too dangerous. You could end up breaking an arm or a leg."
Describing riding business model is like one of the
When the big earthquake hit, Mom and I had almost finished setting up the little cottage on their property for her dad. He had just drove in from Oklahoma the day before. We had his TV in hand when it hit. I let go of the TV and attempted to get my kids on the deck being thrown up and down out there. When it stopped, my mom gave out a little chuckle and she said, "Well, Dad, welcome to California." Our Gramps said if my things weren't unpacked, I'd be on my way back. She then proceeded to invite all the neighbors and friends to a barbecue. She didn't want to waste good food in the freezer, and we were realizing it was going to be a long while before we had our power back on again. As much as I miss them, I love knowing that my parents lived their lives to the fullest, always made time every year to be with family and relatives. And they had the most awesome group of friends to ride and camp with. I'm so thankful for that. I'm done.
All right, thank you, Lisa. All right, everybody, I'm gonna switch over and show the video right now. And then we'll get the grandkids on after that, and then move it on over to everybody else to have an opportunity to share a story with Karel. So let me get the video on screen here, and then we'll be back here shortly.
Tell me, what does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? Have your fears and your pain gone away? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir, and I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. So tell me, what do you do in heaven? Are your days filled with love and light? Is there music? Is there art and adventure? Tell me, are you happy? Are you more alive? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir, and I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. Since you arrived. dancing in the sky. And I hope you're singing in the angels' choir. And I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. Since you arrived. Does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say?
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Right after the video again, like last time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's never fun to watch. But brings up good memories. I've living here on the property for about 15 years, and kind of got to watch everything go down from the middle, beginning, middle, and end of all this, and it's been nice to be so close and have so many good memories and so much time, living right next door. I guess I'm gonna keep it short because I've got her oldest great grandchild and her youngest great grandchild here at the house, driving everybody nuts. But I wanted to share a memory of the last year or two of every time, my Uncle Eric or my mom, were either out of town or, had work, I would go over and visit with grandma from about the time I got off work until whenever she'd finally had enough of me and would kick me out. But every time she said the same thing. She would tell me that she didn't need a babysitter. And I'd look at her and just say, I'm not here to babysit you. I'm here to visit. And she'd go, no, you have a family. And I'd just say, Grandma, my family, they're all asleep right now. So if I go home right now, I won't have anybody to talk to. So she'd kind of give me a smile and chuckle, and we'd sit there and watch whatever crime show she was watching that day. It was usually the same. But yeah, stay up till about 11 o'clock with her until finally I had to tap out and just walk back home. And about 15 minutes later, I'd just check out the window and see if the lights went off. And normally they did. So I realized that she was just trying to be a good host and outlast me so that she could go to bed without trying to hurt my feelings and tell me she wanted to go or something. But yeah, they provided me and my kids and wife a life that we would have not had it not been for them being so gracious to let us be here. And I know that in my heart that I got to help them a lot through the hard times, and that I wouldn't trade any of those moments for anything. Those memories are ones that I wouldn't have had if I wasn't living so close. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. He always put me right after these videos. So, um, just love her, love Papa. I'm happy that they're back together, and they're both such good people. So that's it.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Mhm.
We're gonna go on to Carol's next oldest grandchild, Colleen, Lisa's daughter. So I'll send you a request to unmute Colleen.
All right.
All right,
That works.
you are on.
Cool. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm just going to get right into it. My grandma was a beautiful woman whose heart was as vast as the open fields that she cherished. She was a beacon of love and warmth, touching all the lives who were fortunate to know her. My childhood memories have a lot of horseback rides, campfires under the stars, and laughter of everyone sharing stories, mostly about horses, of course. My heart is shattered that she's gone, but one thing I know is that my Papa Bob was eagerly waiting for her at Heaven's Gate with already shoed horses and ready to ride side by side again. I'm very thankful that they're together again, but I miss them both very, very much. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Colleen. Okay, and Haley is actually sitting here with me, so we will let her say a few words.
All right. Hi, everyone. I always cry a lot, so I'll try and get through this. I just wanted to share a story that is just near to my heart and it makes me laugh too. For those of you that don't know me, I work in animal rescue. So when I would come to the house, I'd often have kittens or puppies or other animals with me. And I think for probably 2 years after my dad moved back, I'd always bring kittens with me, and my grandma would constantly be asking for a cat. Like, she loved having the cats around, and the two of us were trying to con my dad into getting a cat. And finally, I think she asked him 1,000,002 times, and he agreed that probably getting a cat would be a good idea for her. And so I was able to adopt a cat from the shelter to bring to her on Christmas. Was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? And just being able to like see her light up every time, I got to interact with her and share that part of my life. And obviously, like, she has her background of working with animals and horses, and being able to share that connection with animals, I think was just something to me personally that was so special. And I'm just so glad that I have those memories from the last few years, especially. And then just growing up, everything that she instilled in me. And I'm just so, thankful that she was my grandma, and that my family is here because of her and my papa. So yeah, just happy to have so many great memories to look back on.
Thank you, Haley. All right, let me find Jameson on here. And Jameson is.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Yep,
Sweet.
you're good.
Hi everyone. I just want to say, like, growing up, it was always a special time, like going up to Santa Cruz at that house, because we get all of our family there all the time, especially like Christmas. I think would be my favorite time. It was just nice being around them all the time. Her and my grandpa were both the nicest people ever. She could talk to you for hours and hours and hours and never get tired of anything you say. And she was just I don't know, she was just like always a bright part of my day whenever I got to see her, and would always cheer me up. I don't think you could be down around her. She just has that energy to her that makes everyone around her smile, and I'm definitely gonna miss that a lot. But her and my grandpa are both in a better place now together, and that makes it a lot easier knowing that they're together and don't have and she doesn't have to go through any bad times anymore. Is happy now. Thank you.
Thanks, JMO. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite anybody else that's on the call that would like to share a memory or a funny story or a special story of your experience with Carol. Yeah, we did this 2.5 years ago when my dad passed, and as usual, there were a lot of it's kind of a slow start. Everyone's a little bit shy, but um, if someone wants to step up and be the first one to share something, I'm sure everyone else will jump in and start sharing theirs as well. So again, just send me a chat saying you'd like to say something, and I will unmute your line and get you up and on the screen.
Hey, Eric, this is Melanie. Can you
Yeah.
see my, okay, I can
Oh,
go.
yep. Yep. Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know how to do the video, but anyway, video stopped. Anyway, I will just speak without the video. This is Melanie Moore, and I know Carolyn, your family, your amazing family through the Summit Riders. I was really genuinely honored to meet Carol probably about 20 years ago. Of course, I met Carol with Bob, and honestly, I never knew Carol without a smile. So when you said, Eric, that you took her to Thailand, and I just could see in my heart that that would just be amazing for Carol. So thank you for the photos. They were really wonderful. Seeing the early days and seeing the wedding photos. You know, Carol was such an energetic person, and even into her 80s. I mean, I'm saying this with great awe. She was such an energetic person. She helped me with horse shows and play days, and Bob was, of course, right there. They just never missed an event. I mean, they were always there. They were a bedrock to our community and to our horse group, and you know, to all these people that I know through horses. So I just want to say thank you. It's been incredible. So thank you so much, Carol. We're gonna miss you. Anyway, that's it. I was really honored to know Carol for so long. So thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. All right, Richard.
Hey, Eric.
Looks like you-
Thank you very much for putting that together. I'm driving now, so I'm not looking at a whole lot of it, but I was able to pull over and watch the video. God, my memories with your family go back darn near 50 years at this point. And your mother, and of course your father as well, and you and Lisa just played so much of a part of my young life. And so my thoughts are with you guys. Thank you very much for reminding me with this service of so many of the wonderful things that Bob and Carol were. And my thoughts are with you guys as you heal.
Thanks, Rich. And yeah, as I was going through a lot of the old home movies, yeah, I found a few of you and I doing some of the events at the Summit Riders play dates, and I'll have to clip some of those and send them to you. I'm sure you'll get a good laugh out of them. All right. Next up, anybody else would like to share a story or a good memory with Carol? Again, go ahead and unmute yourself or send me a message and I'll ask you to unmute. Everybody's so shy today.
Eric?
Yes, we can hear you and see
Hi.
you. Go ahead.
Maria Pilgrim here. I've known Carol, or had known Carol and Bob for, it's hard to say actually, because I joined NATRC when I was a junior and Carol was in it then. I just wanted to say to her amazing personality that as a judge, she made the rides fun. She made them enjoyable, and I always wanted to come back and be judged by her because she wasn't difficult or negative. She was not the kind of person that made it a chore, or, she always had really excellent positive remarks to make. And I even secretaried for her once while she was a judge, and it was still the same thing. She was exactly the same way of positive and outgoing. And I don't know if she was this around the family, but she was a consummate teacher to all of us when it came to writing. So, I just wanted to say her personality made the sport really a lot of fun. And thank you for putting this on.
Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I was fortunate enough to share a lot of my mom's experiences with different horse events. I never saw her judge a ride though, so it's interesting to hear that feedback, and great to hear that. And I'm not surprised to hear that that's certainly the way she was. Always positive, always upbeat. I can't remember ever hearing a negative word come out of her mouth in her entire life. So thank you for that. All right. Anybody else? Go ahead and unmute yourself, and let's hear some more good stories. We'll give it another few seconds here, see if anybody else wants to share something. While we're waiting to see if anybody else wants to jump in, we will be, both of my parents were cremated. Their remains will be interned back in my dad's hometown of Hugo, Oklahoma. We're not sure exactly what date we're going to do that yet at this point, but it's kind of a special thing to get, especially to get my dad back to his hometown, and to be laid to rest with Karel, right by his side there. And there's a lot of other Waughs that are buried in that cemetery, and both of his parents, his two brothers, and his sister, as well as some other family members. So we'll be adding a couple more Waughs into that location, and it'll be a special place in the future to go visit. Sally, looks like you unmuted. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and see you. Go ahead.
Oh, I've known Karel since 1952, and she was my closest friend that I've known as an adult. We probably have ridden thousands of miles, certainly many, many hundreds of miles together. I secretaried for her on many NATRC rides, and I crewed for Karel and Bob on one Tevis ride. And she really impacted my life in so many ways. Perhaps the most significant was because she was adopted. She was the most instrumental person in helping me find my son, whom I gave up for adoption at birth. And Karel and Bob were the only people here on the mountain who met my son when he came here to visit. He lives in Georgia. And it's just hard to imagine life without her. There were times when we talked on the phone half a dozen times a day, and we did so many things together, and she was the closest thing that I ever had to a sister. I had no siblings. I miss her terribly, and it was a lovely video that she put together. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sally, thank you. You hold a very special place for me as well because of your friendship with my mom, and especially over the last few years, so many of her friends have unfortunately either passed away. A lot of them have moved away. And you were kind of her rock. You were always here for her, and you know, coming over to visit, taking her out for lunches. So that was much appreciated, and she very much appreciated it, as well as for me to have a little bit of a break as well. So yeah, she always talked about needing to call Sally. So that was, yeah, she felt the same way about you as you felt about her, for sure.
Well, you were like a second family to me, so thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. And let me know when your printer needs more work.
Thanks for that.
All right. Thanks, Sally. I'm going to switch it. I'm going to ask now Pam and Kevin Waugh. Kevin Waugh is my dad's brother's son, and have Kevin say a few words.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
There's just so many things. I don't even know where to start. I mean, the memories go all the way back from when y'all lived back here in Oklahoma, and gosh, I don't know. So many things. I was crying my eyes out a while ago when I watched the video and all. Always look forward to every year when they'd come back for homecoming, and they were really great people. I look forward to seeing y'all when you come in. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. And you know that even though we were only there a couple days, yeah, my mom and I 2 years ago. Thank you for your hospitality and driving us around the property. And again, my dad grew up in Hugo, and we still own 100 acres there. That's actually adjacent to Kevin's property there. And so it was great to get back there after so many years to actually see the property, and not sure what we'll do with it in the future, but I think it'll always be a part of the Waugh family, and we have no plans of doing anything, or I think it'll remain there, and hopefully someday we can get back there and enjoy it more frequently than we've been able to over the last few years. But yeah, Kevin, we look forward to seeing you, and I'm hoping to get my kids out there as well. They've never been to Oklahoma yet, so hopefully I can drag them along, and we'll all have a little reunion, do some fishing, and have a nice fish fry. All right, go ahead.
That sounds really good. I'm looking forward.
Very good. Thanks, Kevin. All right. Anybody else would like to say a few words? Go ahead and unmute yourself and jump on in. While people are contemplating that, I am going to go ahead and show the video one more time. So maybe you can think about a story you'd like to share, and then after the video, I'll ask one more time, and if not, then we'll go ahead and wrap things up. So let me bring the video back up.
Tell me, what does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? Have your fears and your pain gone away? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're Are your days filled with love and light? Is there music? Is there art and adventure? Tell me, are you happy? Are you more alive? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir, and I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived, since you so nice up in heaven since you arrived, since you arrived. Does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say?
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Connie, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I would. I didn't know if I was on or not. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Eric? Uh,
We hear you.
oh, okay. You can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. It was my fault.
Okay. So I just wanted to say that I moved away almost 7 years ago now, but Carol and Bob were my neighbors. I was up on Adams Road for 30 years. And Carol was just a godsend to me. I was fairly new. I was very new with horses when I moved to the mountains, and she was just my go-to horse expert. I called her about everything, and she always had a very practical, good answer, and I appreciated it so much. I loved being in Summit Riders with both of your parents, both Carol and Bob. We had many, many good campouts, horse shows, meetings, wonderful, wonderful times together. And they actually came to visit me here in Santa Fe about maybe 6 years ago when I first moved here. And we had a really nice visit. They were on their way to Oklahoma, but it was great. Um, that's about all. I just will miss them both, Carol especially. Thanks.
Thank you, Connie. Yeah, and a lot of memories of you for myself growing up, and really, I mean, the Summit Riders was just a huge extended family for all of us. I mean, it's great to see that the club's still going. It's not what it used to be. I think we had, seemed like 100, 200 people at every event, and everybody that lived up here had horses, and it's kind of a dying culture in the mountains these days, unfortunately. But it's good to see the club still going and still building those friendships, and a lot of similar names or familiar names I still see involved with the club. So it's great. All right. Would anybody else like to say something before we end the call? Give you just a few seconds here, and if no one else wants to jump in. Okay, I think that's it. I will be posting the video on YouTube, and I'll put a link on the Facebook thread. And then I recorded this today's call, so I'll be posting that as well. I received a few private messages saying people couldn't make it and they were hoping we were going to record it. So a posting of this will be made available as well, and I'll put the link on the Facebook thread as well. Again, thanks everyone for joining. It was. I know a lot of you on the call, and again, we're all very lucky people to have had Carol in our lives, and I look forward to keeping in touch and hearing from many others of you on the call today. So have a great rest of your afternoon. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.